Sentire Media.
Buon anno nuovo. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for downloading our podcast in this 2020. New start, new year. Yeah? Why do you laugh at me every time? Whatever. Today's the 8th of January. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's frozen outside. We have minus 7 degrees and clear. We have a high-pressure system coming over the peninsula of Italy that will stay here for the next 2 weeks, continuing on mild weather throughout January.
Great intro. No, I like it. A little quick shout out to my pops, Marty, for the great website Ventuski to check out the weather, since Jason's talking about it right now. If anyone's interested, I'm guessing it's all over, but we're using it obviously in Italy, and it's a
lots
sweet
of animations.
site.
I like it.
Yes.
Anyway, today is clear, cold, minus 7 and frozen. Really interesting weather these days. It starts out in the morning like frozen, and the sun comes up and melts everything, and then it ends up being a beautiful, mild day for the last 2 weeks.
Yes, the chickens are still alive. And the roostino is great. They're still laying eggs.
Laying like crazy.
It's insane. I had no idea that the chickens were had a harder time responding to heat than to cold. Our only problem, thankfully, it's been dry, so the coop's fine. It's that the water is frozen every morning and like deep frozen. And I read a thing this morning. Try putting 3 ping pong balls into the water, and hopefully that will keep it from freezing with the slight movement of air. So we're going to throw some ping pongs in there.
Let's see if it works.
See if we can find any.
So we have a lot to talk about. We'll back you guys up to before the Christmas break. We've just finished Befana. It's over. The Epiphany on the 6th. So the holiday season over. We can stop eating now and getting fat.
Oh my God.
It
tastes so good.
It tastes so good. It's time to get back to work. We've basically sat on our tushes for 2 months.
Yes.
November and all of December.
Full 2 months.
Full 2 months, 8 weeks. Our last guests were the beginning of November, and now here it is the beginning of January, and I'm ready to go back to it.
You're done.
Ready. So let's start off. Let's talk about the 2020 season, because it will be here before we know it.
Oh my gosh, it is definitely time to start making those travel plans. I know it feels like a ways out there, but our workshops at the end of October are sold out. So I would suggest starting to look at the spring if you have any availability. And we're kicking off the 2020 year this year with the bringing back the Move to Italy workshop. We've had so much interest in it. It's almost fully booked. Only a few spots left. I think 4 spots are available. And that will be May 4th through 7th. And in the Move to Italy workshop, for those of you who haven't heard us chat about it before, this year will be a 3-night kind of intensive, if you will, ton of information thrown at you in 3 nights, broken down into preparation, transition, and execution. And this will be more of a general, not seminars by any means or TED Talks, but
I think it's a good mix between the reality of living here and the nuts and bolts that you need to get done.
Exactly.
We like to say we provide a roadmap, and your road will be different than anyone else's road. It always is. Sometimes
that road doesn't always lead to Italy either, but it's so important to kind of ask these questions. It's a great place to the workshop is a great place to come and kind of bounce off some ideas or ask us all your 1,000,001 other questions you have. We share a bunch of our stories, and it's a good mix also for whether you're looking to start a business here, because we will cover some of that, but also a ton of people just want to either retire or have a vacation home out here. And of course, we will also cover the ever popular €1 properties. Come on, you guys. Don't.
There's a lot of misinformation out on moving to Italy and what you need and the requirements, and we just try to wade through a little bit of the BS,
exactly.
Get down to the nitty-gritty, and then give you a dose of reality.
Mm-hmm. So that is at the beginning of May 4th to 7th. Then May 11th to 16th, we have our 5-night really popular Made in La Marche package, and this is where we...
Spring edition.
Yeah, the spring edition. So this year we decided to break it up throughout the seasons. So each workshop will be different based on the season that you come to stay in. So you could come for 2, come in the spring and come in the fall, and it will be totally different. But we really celebrate the kind of all the culinary and food and wine aspects of the lovely area of La Marche. And for those of you who don't know, Lonely Planet named La Marche the number 2 region in the world to visit, not just within Italy, but so this is becoming a very popular place. And it's a good time to come get a wine tour, market tour, 3 different cooking classes. So you get a real kind of in-depth look at the
Taste.
food of the area. Exactly.
And like Ash said, this year more for me than anyone else, but it's going to be different from the spring to the autumn. So I like it. So what we do in May will not be at all what we do in
September or October. The October one's fully booked. For those of you who can't stay 5 nights, we've got a 3-night taste of La Marche. Just a little assaggio, just a little sample of the area. So you would come for our pizza night, the ever-famous pizza night. Then we'll do the market tour with Fusciani, have a little porchetta, go up to Colesi for the beer, Hunter's Hideaway for lunch, and then the next day, a half-day cooking class, a little Italian quiz night, and then the next day...
You guys are off.
Ciao. Exactly. Throughout the summer, then we've got the basics of the Italian kitchen. Now, I like to say this is anything but basic. We call it the basics because it's from the garden, from the sea, and from the woods. So the 3 kind of basic food groups of Italy, and making pasta, of course. And this is really coming down to the fundamentals and working with simple ingredients.
If you can nail the simple things, then that's... Who was it that said, was it Jacques Pepin?
I don't know.
Who said, whenever I want to see the true talent of a cook, I just give him an egg and say, make me an egg. So this is kind of like the make me an egg idea, that if you can do the small technical things correctly, and the Italian kitchen is just built for this, really made for this, then anything you make will be spectacular.
I love it. It's true. People always will come to us or shoot us in an email asking what the menu is, or when they show up, I want to learn the most difficult thing there is. And it's like...
You don't get it.
No.
You don't get it.
Then after that is the wood oven workshop. We've got 2 of these, one in the end of June 29th to July 2nd, and then another in September.
If you're thinking of putting in a forno a legna or a wood pizza oven or whatever you want to call it, or have done so, it is imperative that you really learn how to use it. And it's not a difficult thing, but there is a learning curve. And in this course, we definitely do more than pizza, because if you only do pizza in your oven, you're not utilizing it nearly to the capacity that you can.
That being said, I got to interject really quick, as usual.
Shocking.
We do cover pizza, because that's a huge one.
Course.
No, and trust me, we've seen so many photos online of people who have these wood ovens who are making pizzas that look terrible.
But the learning curve on these ovens is kind of steep. It takes a lot of repetition. You got to use it, and that's what we try to mitigate here, is the learning curve. In 3 days, if you can really cut out like a whole summer of futzing with this thing and figuring out and burning stuff, and you can kind of get rid of that part of it, and then you can enjoy your pizza oven, because most people use it every once, they'll use it a handful of times over the summer, and it's not, trying to master this is not that kind of thing. You can't just use it 2 or 3 times and expect to really understand what's going on. You have to kind of do it, and that's what we do. We fire it up and we do it. We use the oven in all 5 of the different categories of heat. So from pizza, which is the hottest, all the way to confit or something slow overnight, which is the lowest. And it's a lot of fun. You hang around. We hang out with a glass of wine or a beer in your hand, and it's great.
It is. This is also a really good one that's family friendly, because the kids can jump in the pool and be hanging out outside. 90% of the class is outside by the wood oven anyway. Kids can come over and join when it's time to make the pizza. It's a real family-friendly one for sure, too.
It's great. Every year it goes really well.
I know. I love it. We also do the fish and salt crust sometimes. The menu totally changes.
I'm going to change it up because I want to do different things.
I know, but I just like it. Then throughout the summer, we've got another one of the Made in La Marche, the 5-night summer edition, July 5th through 10th, and a 3-night Taste of La Marche, July 30th to August 2nd. Autumn is where things are already really filling up.
So just hit up the ones we need to talk about.
So the big one is the advanced workshop. This is the Sunday lunch. This one I am really super excited about because let's reunite the band, you guys. This is open only to guests who have been here before and taken cooking classes. And we're going to take that fossa that you remember that Jason drilled into you, and we're going to build off of that. The fun part also is the culmination of these 5 nights is creating a big proper pranzo, a big Sunday lunch for the Italians. And throughout these 5 nights, we're going to not only be prepping the meal, but having meals together, working as a team to create this lunch. And I think it'll be a really cool, with a max of 6. So I think it's going to be really cool.
It's an interesting premise. And this is to get a taste of what it's really like to be under the gun and have to produce for a group of people and be on time and hit all the marks. And we'll work up to that through the week. And you'll
preparing the pasta ahead of time and
see
things
the
like that.
progression of everything and understand the mindset of when you're cooking for, whether it be 4 people or 40, how to kind of design the menu and set up the time and work smarter and not harder. And
timing's super important.
Timing is everything. But we'll just go a little bit deeper this time because you've returned and you understand kind of the method, and we don't have to start with the basics, and we can jump right into it. It'll be great. I'm really looking forward to this one.
September 2nd to 7th. Mark your calendars for that one. And then we've added a 2-night I just called it the 2-night intensive because sometimes, like I said before, you can't stay very long. This is another great one for returning guests. Come for a fantastic dinner. Next day, full day cooking class, which is a Sunday, so we'll spend the day as it should be on a Sunday, just cooking all day, having lunch, dinner, and then Monday morning.
You won't go to bed hungry.
No. And then Monday morning, you're out of here. So if you want to pop back for a quick stay, get a good long day of cooking in, get your Jason and Ashley time, this is a great one. And then we have the classic gourmet getaway, the 3-night autumn package, with the mushroom hunt, and that is October 7th through 10th. Otherwise, October is booked.
Nice. And of course, there's still holds open in July and August for renting the farmhouse, right?
A little bit in July and a little in August as well. And a few availabilities in September. We're no longer taking nightly bookings. So if you are interested in coming in a time that is not one of our scheduled workshops, you can either change your calendar or rent the whole farmhouse if we have availability. Pull together like 2 or 3 other couples, and it's totally doable.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's 2020. We're getting geared up for it.
Woo!
Starting the other day.
I know it. I'm excited. It's coming soon. All right, so now we back it up. Now let's talk about the fun stories.
Okay.
This is what you guys tuned in for. Christmas.
So, should we back it up to before Christmas?
The last podcast we did was like right before Christmas.
So,
Christmas was at Rosanna, Gaggi's wife's family's house in Città di Castello.
Yeah, we went over the hill. The only Christmas was great. It was low key. We love going to Fabrizio's house, and his kids are great. And the only part that was concerning was the trip over the hill from Piovico to Città di Castello over the Apennines and back because the Godster, he is not a great driver on those curves.
No, thankfully it's clear. Jason kept saying, "I know you like snow ash, but just remember, Gaggi's driving tomorrow." And it was like,
let it be clear and bright.
Clear and bright. It was coming home before we leave. Oh, just. Gaggi had to take one last shot of whiskey before we hit the road. Just that's what you had to take a little roadster. And
now he's not a bad. It's not that he's a bad driver. It's that he's gotten one cataract done and the other one has not had the surgery on it yet. So I think his depth perception's a little off. So getting into the curves, braking hard, then speeding up. It's every curve, and he's been driving this road. It's not like he doesn't know the road. So he's been driving. He's lived here his entire life. He's driven that road thousands and thousands of times, which is the only reason it's like, all right. Not to mention, if we ever suggested that we drive,
oh my God, that'd be it.
That'd be a major offense.
And then we were silent in the car at one point, and Gaggi said, "Are you guys sleeping or what's going on?" And Rosanna said, "No, just keep talking, and we'll all continue to pretend to listen." It was just great.
Lots of barbs.
Oh my God!
So Christmas was great, really low-key, but the highlight of the Christmas season was Ashley in the choir.
My performance.
I'm sure we mentioned that Ashley got a little drunk on the Christmas
Holiday spirit, yes.
at a dinner and volunteered to join the choir, which is great. I think it's awesome that she puts herself out there, yet I didn't know you could sing.
Well, I can't really sing, but I enjoy it. I think it's really fun. I definitely don't have the operatic voice of the choir singers. I'm more like, oh yeah, baby, you know.
So it ended up being great. The choir. It was.
It's a cluster F. I know I said that the last time when I had the rehearsal, but it was show up 2.5 hours early for the concert to do another rehearsal. We get there. We find out only the day of the concert that 3 other choirs are joining us and that it's a split concert. So they go first and then we go. And I wasn't sure the order. And I texted Jason immediately going, oh my God, if we go first, we are out of here. I'm not sticking around. This could take forever.
Oh, it did.
But it was hysterical because... Well, you say it from.
Well, the concert was great. I really enjoyed the choir. I like the music.
Yeah, it's nice. The Christmas music is nice.
And they had a trumpet player, which is, who was in the part of the brass. That he was a professional. He did a big solo thing. I love horns, so it was great. The funniest part to me was Ashley, gangly, tall Ashley. They stuck her right in the middle of the choir on the second pew. So she is literally face to face with the conductor, and she is a head and a shoulder taller than everyone else. It looked like it was the 4th grade Christmas sing-along, and there's the giant Ashley in the middle, and I don't know, it was hysterical.
And I had a white scarf on and a huge smile. I was the most excited one up there. And
they put her next to the 2 smallest people. They came up to the woman on her left came up to her shoulder, and the woman on her right barely came up to her ear. And it was... it was awesome.
It was awesome. It was a blast. It was, there, like I said before, there was just half the songs were in French, so some of them you just kind of pretend to sing. But it was good. I loved it. I would not do it again necessarily. Thankfully, there is no. That was it. It was a one night show only. But, it was great. I love the feeling part of the community and participating in that sense. You know,
absolutely. So that was Christmas, and then New Year's, we took a trip to Corsica, the island off the coast of Livorno.
Wait, but before we got there, Livorno.
Oh, Livorno. Livorno's a shithole. Not my fave.
It has been a long time, if I can't remember when, maybe somewhere in Puglia, but that we were like, ugh, I would not go back.
Okay, Livorno is a port city. It's heavy on the industry.
So it's north. It's on the Mediterranean coast.
It's in Toscana.
In Tuscany, north of Rome, south of the Cinque Terre, and just west of Lucca and Pisa. Just southwest of Lucca and Pisa. To give you guys an idea.
When you come in, you come through this industrial zone where there's nothing but oil refineries and just industry. The air was thick with diesel smell. It was stinky. And then we were there not even 12 hours.
No, I don't know if we missed the historical center, if we missed something, but
if you're planning a trip to Italy, don't stop.
No.
Keep
and
going.
In fact, when we go back to Corsica someday, we will skip it and stay in Lucca or Pisa and just do the 30-minute drive to get to the ferry.
That's the only reason we went to Lucca that's where the ferries...
Livorno.
Thank you. Livorno that's where the ferries to Corsica come off of. And we took it's a car ferry, a giant...
You can walk on, too.
You can walk on. And Corsica was beautiful. Now... We're going for New Year's, so it's not the touristic, really high tourist time. So a lot of stuff was closed, and it was.
We
really,
arrived
really
on
quiet.
a Sunday, left on New Year's Day. So yes, a lot was closed.
But it is gorgeous.
It is
absolutely gorgeous. The ferry took about 4.5 hours.
Just the right amount of time where if it was much longer, you might want to get a cabin if you have a child or something too. But we were able to eat our way through the ferry ride. And note, once you leave your car, you cannot go back. Mistake made. I left sausages in the car. I wanted to go back to get it for lunch. I even went and asked the reception, I forgot something in the car. They said it was only medicine you could go back for. And Jason kept joking that the sausages were my medicine. But, 4 hours-ish, and so it wasn't
bad. It's not bad. You don't need a cabin. I guess if you have a child or something, you want one. But the boat was really clean, really nice. Smooth. Well, we had no weather. Like, the seas were calm. There was no wind. It was sunny. Lots of families, and different from our ferry ride to Greece, which was nothing but surly truck drivers and the two hookers. But Corsica, we stayed in. You
it's near
it.
Airset. Yeah. So if it's on what is called like the Dito or like the thumb of Corsica, there's a little
in the north.
Nubbin on the north, a little thumb that sticks out there, and so we were out on that little peninsula.
And Ashley's childhood friend married a French guy, and his family,
his mom was
from there. So we stayed in basically the village that his mom grew up in. Let me tell you, it is like a freaking film storybook. Because Corsica is kind of mountainous, it's hilly, and the Med. Looking over it, and she lived in this little town called Canele, right? Cinnamon, Canele. Mm-hmm. It is literally like you would think out of a film.
It needs to be like a movie set.
It's just a little
overlooking the Mediterranean on the west side.
On the west side, maybe a kilometer inland, but you're way up on a hill.
And you see the inlet of the.
The village is built into the rock, and the village is all stone. There's a little fountain. Like, it's just.
Only foot traffic. You have to leave your car.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. That being said, I would imagine in the summertime, because this area had one road in and one 2-lane road going out.
Which was stunning.
Stunning.
Not only the views, of course. The condition and quality of the road, you guys. We were just like, what the hell? We ended up staying in a town of 10 inhabitants on a year-round basis, and the road was better than anything out here.
Yes. So the Corse are interesting. It's a mix of, their language is a mix of French and Italian, heavier on the Italian than the French. We learned a little bit of history, how Napoleon won back Corsica, and did no more research than that.
The oldies, if you ran into an old timer and started speaking Italian, they could understand, and they would sometimes reply just directly in French or the Corse dialect, and then it would take them a little bit into the conversation, and then they'd go full into Italian.
There's not much to do there except walk around and enjoy the beauty. We went on New Year's Day, and one of Ashley's friends, husbands, whatever.
Yeah.
He went diving, not deep, like literally wading, in a wetsuit, and grabbed. How many kilos?
Oh my God.
Enough to feed all of us of ricci di mare.
Sea urchin.
Sea urchin.
It was incredible. I've never seen it happen just in front of my face like that. Right in front of your face. But, anything like that is that fresh, pulled out of the sea, split open. Jason learned how to cut them open.
Yeah, on the bottom of the sea urchin is a little mouth, and you stick a scissor in there, and you cut it the radius to the edge of the circle of it, and then you go around and you kind of just wash out the black stuff, guts, when in the seawater, and there you see the orange. What is it? They said they were the sex organs.
Whatever it is, it was good. And you use a little spoon
or bread.
You just rub it on bread, and it was so nice.
So we sat on the beach, and it took him about no time at all, 30 minutes to find a giant.
It was great anticipation, just like Deadliest Catch or something coming out of the water. You can't quite see. You see him holding the bag, but you don't see what's in the bag yet, and you kind of aren't sure if the weight that he's pulling is just the tension against the water, if it's full. And then all of a sudden he lifted it up, and it was like, we're eating.
So it was a beautiful afternoon. We drank white wine and ate sea urchin and bread and olives and it was nice. It was not a cloud in the sky. Nice enough to sit on the beach. I made a sandcastle with the little girls. Mm-hmm. We had a great time.
And then that evening.
Then we did they did a baby goat on the spit.
Capretto?
Capretto, spit roasted baby goat, which was
It was so much fun to watch the
really
whole thing
great.
go down, from having them, Arnaud's mom and him going to pick up the goat and at 10 in the morning and being forced to have a shot of whiskey with the farmer before they could take the animal. To and having it hanging in the little cantina, to the dad being so pumped up to research it and the whole thing, and he's out there throughout the whole process, tapping it down with the rosemary sticks. Oh, by the way, side note, we were trying to look for different herbs for some cooking we were doing. What is with Corsica's fake ass herbs? It looks like rosemary, but then it doesn't smell like rosemary. They looks like they have a ton of sage everywhere, and then you go to touch it and you're like, what? Nothing. What the hell? I have no idea. It was so weird. It was like these fake versions where they just didn't have any pop or kick to it. Wasn't it weird? Even the laurel.
Yeah, I don't know. It was everywhere. Mm-hmm. But Corsica, a great, if you come to Italy and you're looking, everyone talks about Sicily or Sardinia, I guess you're not coming. It's a different country, but all right, we had technical difficulties there. The batteries died. Terrible engineering on my part. But we talked for a full-on half hour before I looked down.
It was like the worst version of when I'm talking to my sister, one of my girlfriends, and the phone craps out, and I keep going for another 5 minutes and not realize, hello, anyone there? And they were like, oh, the last thing I heard was, I got a story to tell you. I felt totally like that.
All right, my fault.
It was really good, too.
It was awesome. Let's
see if we could do it again.
All right, so last thing we said was wrap up. It's a different country.
Yeah.
We were wrapping up Corsica. Yeah, I was realizing that Corsica is France and we are living in Italy. So,
and it was pretty obvious we live in Italy on the boat ride home, because the boat ride, the ferry, is called Corsica Ferries, but it was 100% Italiano that day.
This was New Year's Day, and they broke out the karaoke machine on the back of the boat.
Jay, I don't think it was karaoke. I keep trying to tell you. I think these were paid entertainers.
Okay, I'm just going to say they're karaoke, because if those were paid entertainers singing into that, we got problems. The reason why Ash says that is they were in sparkly dresses.
Oh, yeah.
And
I hope they were entertainers.
Suits that
with
looked,
what they were wearing, they better have been paid entertainers.
Or were they just on continuing the party from the night before?
No, but we boarded the ferry, and tons of Italians are sitting outside on the dock or whatever. Not on the dock, on the boat outside. I don't know what that's called.
Just on the outside deck.
Thank you. And the music is blaring. The person is singing 5 feet in front of them, if that. Some people are dancing right up in their face. But the speakers were so overmodulated. It was so terrible. Everything's just wah, wah, wah. And then they're like, woo, turn it up, play another. And it was all over the boat. It was fantastic, though, to see the K Casino, classic Italian.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, today is a different day since our pause. Yesterday, we had no more batteries. We had a lot of AAA, but no AA. Which
we couldn't find any batteries at the house.
No. So today is what's today?
Now the 9th.
The 9th. Same weather as yesterday, freezing this morning.
And actually the same time.
Same time, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. So you're all caught up. We're back to it. Befana. Go.
La Befana.
So we finished up the season of festivities with the Epiphany, or La Befana.
It's considered, the 12th day of Christmas, I guess.
Is that true?
I think so.
Okay.
Fun fact, don't look it up. And Epiphany is when the wise men came to deliver their gifts to baby Jesus.
Another fun story. I asked that to Ashley right before Epiphany. What does Epiphany mean? You went to Catholic school for 12 years.
I don't know.
She looked at me and goes, I have no idea. So I guess they didn't cover that in 12 years of parochial school. No one talked about Epiphany?
No, we missed that and geography. Those were the two that were skipped. But in our little neighboring village, Urbania, any of the guests out here who have been here, I'm sure you've passed through or stopped there. Urbania is very sweet. It is somehow, I don't know why, it is claimed the title as home of La Befana. And La Befana is the character that has been created for Epiphany, for I don't know exactly when. Like we said, we don't do a ton of research.
When they started making her a witch.
But she's
she's a witch.
She's
sorry.
an old lady with a long nose and a broom, but she's not a witch.
Okay.
And she looks like a witch. And she comes on the night of the 5th to the 6th and you leave out your stockings for good children. She brings caramels and treats. For the bad kids, coal. So it sounds pretty familiar.
And what does she do before she leaves?
Before she leaves, she sweeps the house. You leave her a glass of wine or a sausage, and she sweeps the house as she leaves. So, which cracks me up, so Italian as well. Like, oh, and she'll clean the house.
What a good, she's such a good casalinga.
So Urbania has slowly throughout the years stepped it up, and this year they went all out and even had special entrances to enter the festival, and we found this was a big deal.
This was a big deal. Before
you want gossip, you want local gossip.
You want local gossip? Here's some local gossip. So they do this every year, and this is a really nice thing. When we first came through Italy on our first research trip, it was the middle of the winter, and we stumbled upon Urbania, and they were doing this festival at the beginning of January. We thought, how incredible! And
should I tell the story real quick?
Okay, yeah.
So it was exactly what Jason was saying. This was 2006, and we were coming through the area looking at properties and heading back to where we were staying for the night outside of Cali, and we just were driving through Urbania. We didn't know where we were. It's dark, it's cold, it's early January, and we had no idea what Befana was. We just realized there's tons of cars outside this little town. We need to stop. What's going on here? And sure enough, we show up, and the throngs of the festival are in full swing, and the band is playing, and the streets are packed. And we show up right on time for La Befana to descend from the church tower into the piazza. And as soon as she steps out, we're all waiting. We don't know what the hell's going to happen. We don't know who Befana is. She starts to descend, and Jason and my sister was with us. We three just release like the most Arsenio Hall whoop it up cheer, woo, 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 like touchdown dance kind of thing, and it felt like all eyes turned to us. It was like death stare.
Why were all eyes turned to us? Because everyone was silent.
Silent
as the witch came down the rope or the cord.
They wait in bated breath for her arrival, and once she lands in the piazza, then there's an appropriate applause.
Not during,
as
we found out.
Oh my God. So that was hysterical. But for some funny reason, it was like, oh man, we'll have to come back here. Little did we know we would visit it every year for the past 14 years. Exactly. I love it. So this year,
the gossip is that they were charging an entrance fee. Normally, it's a free entrance. It's just a free festival. You walk around. But this year, they did it up. They did it up a little bit, and they made actually bathrooms, so you could go to the bathroom, and they just put a little money into the festival. Well,
and it's going to fix the streets and make the festival better for other years. So it's totally worth it. It goes right back into the
We're talking
city.
about kids under free. Young adults were like $2 and adults are $5. It's not the most. We're not talking about a lot of money
once a year.
But the residents of Urbania were upset.
Mm-hmm.
They were being
up in arms.
They were being charged money to go to their own festival. So they said, okay, if you're a resident of Urbania, you don't have to pay to get into the thing.
Okay, great,
fine. So when we get our ticket and we're standing in, 3 people in line to go through the gate, and the poor guy who's volunteering his time is checking tickets.
Oh, side note, how many people do you think are residents in Urbania?
It's bigger than our town.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 7,000.
Okay.
Would that be a fair guess? I wouldn't say 10.
No, I don't know.
I wouldn't say 10, and it's definitely 2 or twice as big or more than around here.
Okay. Just to give people an idea of what kind of size town we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about a tiny village. So we're about to give the guy our ticket to go through the little gate, and these 3 women just blow past us and just ghost the guy. Like, I see him look up from me and make contact with her eyes, like they lock eyes, because he took he's going to take my ticket, and he turns his head to see these 3 women, and they look eyes, and she ghosts him. She doesn't even give him eye contact, head held high, walks right by him. And the guy goes, excuse me, ma'am, excuse me.
Ladies,
do you have a ticket? Do you have a ticket? And she turns on her heel and goes, I'm a resident of Urbania. I don't have to have a ticket. And he goes, okay. And then she goes, do you want to see my carta d'identità?
And then the other one is like, do you want to see my energy bill?
The other one asked if you wanted to see...
Oh, my God, hold on.
Oh, it fell on. Wanted to see the NL bill, so to prove that she's a resident of Urbania. So that was hysterical, and I guess it's a bigger deal than what we thought about. Ashley had to run out because good old Dr. Gaggi is calling for his weather update. He is back in Fano. He works 2 days a week. He's semi-retired, and he hunts the other 5 days a week. And last night, he went back to Fano because he works today. So he wants to know the update of the weather, which makes me kind of laugh because it's been the same weather every day for 2 weeks. Frozen in the morning, 10 degrees, 12 degrees in the afternoon. All right, I'm going to push pause again because without Ashley, this is half a podcast. We're back.
Perfect interruption.
I explained that it's hysterical that he calls.
Just to check on the weather.
It's the same weather every day.
The sausages to confirm for tomorrow.
So the Urbania Befana Festival was a success. They made the national news, which is a big deal for around here. And we'll see what they do next year.
I know.
This week, we're going this afternoon to go pick up the meat to make our annual salamis and sausages for the season.
And tell them what's the meat mean?
We're going to pick up pork shoulder. We'll get 50 kilos for this first go. We'll do another 50 kilos probably sometime next week, and then another 20. We usually do about 100 and something kilo a year. I would say 60% salamis, 40% sausages.
This is all for the guests. We do it all for you, folks.
This is all. I don't really eat a lot of this.
Especially come the winter, we're just like, oh my God, basta.
No, this is more like what Gaggi calls public relations. This is a lot to give away and to for the guests and that kind of stuff. So, but it's a great thing to do during the winter because there is nothing to do. This is January, February. This is the two most horrible months in all of Italy. It's just.
However, we have found something to do, at least for the next couple weeks, and that's called Avanti un Altro. I'm cracking up, guys, because if you knew what I was talking about, and we're about to explain it. This is a spettacolo. is a Italian TV show on Mediaset. You too can watch it at home. You can go to Mediaset. What is it? Mediasetplay.mediaset.it. Of course, it's an Italian site, so it's not easy just to do one word.
No. We watch the news every afternoon during lunch, and it's really funny because, like any midday news in any country, there's a lot of advertisements for like the sit-down bathtub and the chair that lifts you out of the chair and that kind of stuff. Well, they have been really going hard on this show called Avanti un Altro, Up Next. Now, Italy is different from other countries where they'll have these runs of shows, game shows, or just different, what they call spectaculos or like spectacular, like variety shows.
Thank you. That's
variety shows. But they will only have a run of like couple of weeks, 6 weeks or something, and then they'll go away.
And during those 6 weeks, it could be on every night.
Yes. Kind of like the stories, like the telenovela kind of things.
Exactly.
And then it might be 18 months or 2 years, and it'll come back kind of again. So
it's back.
It's back. This one called Avanti un Altro, Up Next. And it's a game show, but it's not really about the game. It's more of about the wacky stuff going on around the game. And it's hosted by,
Paolo Bonolis and Luca Laurenti.
Now, Paolo I can never say his
Bonolis.
Bonolis.
I don't know.
He's the real guy. He's good.
He's really good.
Now, why should you watch this, even if you don't speak Italian? Because it is such a great slice of Italian culture. It has everything you want. It has the wacky sound effects. It has the The fat guy who sings.
It has where you can't follow any of the chaos.
You can't follow. It has the people talking over each other.
Oh, big time.
It has the sexy ladies who come out to rub the guy's back while he's doing the questions to distract him.
It has the co-host that you can't understand a word he's saying. He speaks in some crazy dialect or has some bizarre speech
mumbles.
impediment.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Do not understand him.
It is just... It's perfect. And we don't watch a lot of Italian TV. We should watch more of it.
Mm-hmm.
But this one
I'm in. So the funny thing is, mark your watch properly because it's not on at 6 or 7 or even 6:30. It starts at 6:47 and ends at 7:57.
Yeah, they do that here. It's weird. They don't really start... not all programs will start at the top or the half of the hour. They'll start at weird ass times.
Because last night was the second night to watch it, and I was like, "Hey, what time do you think it's on? Like at 6:30 or 7? Somewhere around 7?" And then I went to look it up, and it was like, "Oh no, we're both wrong. 6:47." Right? That was like right what I was about to guess next. It also has some sort of thing where, if you're a female and you come up and you get to pick, you make it to the next round, you get to slap the host's ass. And I don't know why. The men don't do it. Oh, yeah, they did. And then I think it's
Good luck.
I think it's good luck, but I also think it's this funny thing where if you could slap the men's asses, you could slap the women's asses
they
too.
do full on when the sexy ladies come out.
Oh my
they
God.
do toe shot. They start at her feet and go a slow pan all the way up. It's
and the outfits are
amazing.
awesome.
So if you're listening to this podcast, you're into Italy and you like Italian stuff, go check this out. Even if you don't understand it, just watch for 20 minutes because you'll turn to whoever is in the room and be like,
do you know what's going on?
Do you know what's going on in this ridiculous program? This is 2020.
How is this on television?
Yes, this is 2020.
Incredibly unbelievable. The other part that might be one of my favorite aspects of the show is actually the commercials. This
is Mediaset. So Mediaset it's Channel 5 Mediaset. Mediaset is owned by Berlusconi. It's the largest media group in Italy.
So they've got the most money in Italy. And for some reason, the hosts do their own commercials, and these commercials are like straight public access style. For some reason, the show's highly produced. Like the TV show, the game show
it's
is
real
flashy
and sparkly.
However, the commercials, the audio is like whack. I don't know what's going on, and the color and the quality of the filming for some reason is so low grade. The sets are straight public access. And they're doing.
You can tell we're excited about this because
I know. What if we talked this much about us?
We've watched. It's been on for 2 nights now, and the first night hooked us, and last night was even better.
Oh my God! Just please go do it, folks.
Please just watch 5 minutes of it. YouTube it if you want. It's called
Avanti
un
Altro. 3 words.
It's great.
So, anything else?
Yeah, we started talking about doing sausages and salamis. Then also the greenhouse is going in.
Oh, yeah.
We found after 12 years of living here, we finally found the mecca of agricultural supply.
So this is one of the difficulties of living here. We have lived here, like he just said, for actually 13 years. We speak enough of the language here. We talk to tons of people. Everyone knows we have a garden. Jason's regulars at every hardware store, talks to any farmer about where to get this or that. Because you're always trying to source and gather more information of where to find things. Well, it just proves you just can't ever stop asking questions. We were speaking with a neighbor friend, Calicozzo, Roberto. Some of you guys have been up there.
His name of his place is Calicozzo.
His name is Roberto. His agriturismo is called Calicozzo. And he stopped by the other day, and we were chatting about farming stuff. And Jason asked him, where can we get the telo, the cover for the greenhouse? And he was like, you got to go to this place. It's got everything. We're like, okay, great. No information online. We try to look it up. We find another hardware store nearby. Long story short, we just get to that town and ask, where's the place with all of the tele? They send us. Oh, my God. It was jaw-dropping walking in there. It's so frustrating. These sites aren't online. There's no way, unless you keep asking, that you'll find this.
Why this is a big deal is anytime I go in, there's not a lot of inventory in the places around here because there's not a lot of population. So when you go to a place, they can get it.
That's what I was just going to say. They always pull out the catalog. I can get it for you.
I can get it for you. It's like, yeah. This place was a big warehouse, and we don't have a lot of big warehouse.
Stocked.
It was a giant barn stocked with crap. Of course, Ashley's favorite part is the Naked Lady calendar. I don't know why.
From like May 1997, I was like, you got to see this. And he's like, yeah, every good hardware store mechanic has one of these hanging up. I was like...
But this place was huge, and it has a bit of everything, and the guys in there are really knowledgeable.
Not only that, it is one of the rare Ferramenta hardware...
No, it's more of an agricultural supply.
Any of these that I've seen where they hop to it. Like, we came in and asked a question, said, this is what we're looking for. Two guys jumped up, grabbed their scissors, started measuring it out, cutting it, doing it all, and it was like, oh, man, these guys are competent.
They had everything. Yep. So that's the big one. So... this is a game changer. It's not close.
I started asking for random questions for things we don't need till the spring, and he's like, we got it. We got it. I was like, oh, my God.
So it's not close. It's about 45 minutes away, but c'est la vie. This is where we live. Everything's kind of a poke away.
They didn't know they just made huge new friends.
Oh, they just...
Did we just become best friends?
Did we just become best friends?
Did we just become your best clients?
So... being able to touch something and see it, where you can go online and get it, but I'd like to touch the
not only
shears that I'm buying.
Someone who you ask questions to, and he responds honestly, saying, "Listen, we were talking about furniture,
shelving.
not furniture, shelving. Thanks
for the greenhouse.
For the greenhouse." And he was like, "I don't have anything here." I said, "Do you have a catalog?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's starting to flip through it. He goes, "But you know what? You can go to Brico, like the kind of cheaper Home Depot-esque kind of thing."
It's the same thing.
It goes, it's the same thing. Just go down there. Like, don't have me order it. And I just thought, I totally respect that. Thank you. And yeah, felt like a honeypot find.
Yeah. Another interesting thing from talking to Roberto is we have a lack of skilled laborers out here. So he was talking about all the problems he's having. Italians love to bitch and moan about everything. And I don't know how to respond when they sit there and just give you the laundry list of crap.
I'm not sure if you're supposed to say, oh, I'm sorry, or say, oh, like, well, I don't know. Let him just do it.
Let him just do it. Yeah, I always turn to Ashley because she's much better in those social situations than I am. There is no one. We were talking about tractors, and if your tractor breaks down around here, you're screwed. You would think living in an agricultural place where there's tractors all over the place that there'd be good mechanics and people who come out and work on them in the field, and there is not. It's really interesting that even in a place here like Italy, those what's the name for those types of jobs?
Mechanic?
Yeah, like.
The roving ones, or what are you talking? I don't know.
Like those kind of services, a good plumber. Thankfully, we've found a good plumber and a good electrician. But I never thought about if your tractor breaks down in the middle of the field, you can't like tow it to somewhere else. You have to have the guy come out to the field and fix it. And normally that would be the farmer would fix it himself. But we just read the big article about how U.S. farmers are going back to tractors from the early '80s because they can't fix the new ones on their own
with all of the computers.
Now around here you don't see those technology heavy. You don't see a lot of new tractors. You do see tractors from the like a tractor from the 80s is kind of new.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh, new tractor, huh? But still,
must have been a good year.
We will see tractors broken down in fields for a couple of days, whereas I think in other countries that thing's back up and running for that afternoon kind of thing. So it's interesting. We should get into the tractor fixing business.
He also mentioned something else that, not to get on a heavy note, but the cost of being a farmer in the sense of the sheep or goat that the Italians don't want to pay the price anymore for small farm.
It's all about the lowest price. They don't want, everyone talks about biological and organic and blah, 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 blah. But when it comes down to it around here, people just want the lowest price. They don't want to pay more for a higher quality. Because before the quality was there and they were paying the price. Now the quality isn't because it's coming from other countries and the good stuff will cost more. So they don't understand that correlation, I don't think. So he was talking about how hard it is to have a farm with animals like cows, for example, that are biological and raised right and blah, blah, blah. And if you do the math on the amount of time he has to keep them, it's like 50 cents a day he gets paid. And that's not even, when you go to sell the animal and blah, 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 and after the fees and the transport and blah, 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 blah. If you divide the amount of days by the amount of money, it's like 50 cents. And it's just not enough.
It's a ton of work. And especially when you don't have kids who are going to help and you can't find people to work the farm. It's a lot of work.
It is. So I don't know. I'm not here to give you an answer to it. I'm just saying what we see happening.
We're just lucky we play farmer.
Yeah, thank
our
God.
chickens, cats, and our garden is plenty. But man, to really have to survive on it is hard.
Scary. Mm-hmm. It's very scary. So that's what's going around here. We have plenty to do this weekend between making the sausages and salamis and putting up the greenhouse. And then we can start, the onions will be started in February sometime. And we can start planning it out and getting it going and figuring out a way to put a little warmth into the greenhouse. Mm-hmm. Great one if you're looking to warm your greenhouse. Bucket with some sand and a big church candle. 2 or 3 of those will warm your greenhouse enough. I was going to stick a little stove, like a little...
he was like, don't do that. A little propane stove.
A little propane heater. He's like, don't do that. Don't do that. No open fires in the greenhouse.
Oh, my God.
Well, I guess a candle is an open fire, but...
It's a lot less dangerous.
Yep. All right, bring us home.
Thank you so much for listening to our first podcast of 2020 that spanned 2 days. And we hope you guys are able to come out and visit us this year. Check the calendar. Like I said, www.latavolamarket.com for all the details. LATAVOLAMARCHE. And you can chat with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
If you watch Avanti and Altro,
please
please drop us a line and tell us what was your favorite part.
Exactly. We'll share on the next podcast, whenever that may be. All right.
Have a good day.
Ciao, ciao.
Sentire Media.
Hey, podcast producers and show hosts. Do you want to join a podcast network that celebrates all things Italian? At Sentire Media, we understand the allure of Italy and its unique culture. Our devoted team of hosts and producers are all driven by their shared passion for Italy. And we work tirelessly to create the best lifestyle podcasts and content that will whisk you away to the very heart of Italy. With us, you can savor the mouth-watering flavors, get lost in the stories from the past, break down the cultural barriers, and truly immerse yourself in the vibrant traditions of this intoxicating country. If you have a great podcast idea or are already in production and would like to join Sentire Media, head over to sentiremedia.com, that's SENTIRE media.com, and find out how to submit your show.